Hey everybody, it's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Another rainy Wednesday night here in the Carolinas. You can see the remnants of Bertha, still technically a tropical depression, though it looks like it's lost most of those characteristics. Even if it was passing over the Charlotte area, max wind gusts are like 20 to 25, so certainly looks more like a remnant low. But the thing about classification of systems, it's all about the wind. It has nothing to do with rain. And even though this was technically a tropical storm at one point, the wind was never an issue with this. This was all about rain. We've seen heavy rain up and down the entire area, and that rain has caused flash flooding in the Charlotte area. The interesting thing about this flash flooding tonight is most areas only saw 1 to 2 inches of rain. Now, any other time of the year, that wouldn't be that big of a deal, especially over a several hour period. But the problem is everything is saturated, so we saw every creek and stream come up real quickly tonight. Let me show you some of the flood advisories still in effect. Let me stop this real quickly here and we'll turn on the flood advisories. We've got a couple different flood warnings in effect currently. We've got a flood warning for Mecklenburg County till 10:15. We've got a flash flood warning for Mecklenburg till 9:15, and one for the Panhandle and most of Lancaster County until about 8:15. Now, most of this is because of runoff from heavier rain. Now, you can see the heaviest stuff is now shifted up towards the Statesville area. Heading over there towards Cleveland and Rowan County. Salisbury still seeing some heavy rain. And then back into the northern mountains. This has really been a heavy rain event for parts of Watauga, Ashe, Yadkin, even parts of Wilkes County, Allegheny County, Taylorsville right around Alexander County, and Lenoir seeing some heavy rain. So you can see the movement off to the north pretty quickly. So we're seeing the end in sight as we're starting to see some drier weather move in. Now, official rainfall totals, these are always kind of sketchy with some of the broken gauges, but I can tell you the airport here in Charlotte, 1.64, Monroe, 2.06. Lancaster, I don't know what's going on at the airport there. It's broken. Same with Concord. People always like, oh, why don't you report those? Hey, we don't control those. Those are FAA controlled or airport controlled. We can only report what they actually have, and sometimes the gauges are broken and they don't report. So if you see a broken gauge, contact the airport, FAA, or NOAA and see if you can't get them fixed. But I can supplement this with a lot of gauges across Mecklenburg County. Most locations in Charlotte, especially from uptown south, about 2 inches of rain has fallen up to the north side, but pretty good rainfall there, 1 to 2 inches. It seems like a few spots will approach 3 inches, but certainly normally this would have not been a big deal. The problem is everything's completely saturated, and that kind of just basically just set the stage for everything to be absolutely flash flooded again tonight. So here's a look at the future cast, moving up to the north, completely out of here. So overnight, really no issues. Now tomorrow, we could actually start the day dry for the most part before we see some scattered storms develop in the afternoon. And just a quick look at the track, not that it really matters, but because it's already outdated, but you can see Tropical Depression Bertha. We'll probably get an advisory here coming up where it's dissipated completely through the evening hours. And rainfall chances overnight, just to kind of reiterate, 20%. So what's going to happen tomorrow? This will be kind of an interesting setup because I want to show you the severe weather outlook today. There wasn't much of one. Tomorrow, kind of the whole area is under the risk for severe weather tomorrow. It's a low risk. I don't expect a ton of storms, but we're actually going to see some sunshine tomorrow for the first time in a couple days, and that's going to destabilize the atmosphere. So any storms that can get going tomorrow will have the potential to produce gusty winds and what we call a non-zero tornado threat. The threat isn't zero, but it's not real high either. So we jokingly call it non-zero. So it's about a 1% to 2% chance of an isolated tornado. Now, that's higher than an average day. Typically, you would barely have any chance of a tornado on a given day. So that's something we're keeping an eye on for tomorrow. Just to show you what those threats are, you can see the potential. They're damaging winds, flooding, obviously. Any rain we're going to see in the next 3 days. I don't care how isolated the storm is, the potential for flash flooding is going to be there. And again, really small tornado threat, but not zero. Let me show you what happens. I'm going to start tomorrow morning with the Futurecast here. And you can see, let me back it up a little bit. We'll back it up to 7 a.m. So we're likely going to start dry in the morning. We'll go into the afternoon hours. And notice at times the sun tries to break out. So you can see there's going to be some breaks of sunshine. Now, you guys know it's been raining for days. We've had some breaks. The sun's going to hit this ground, try to evaporate some of the moisture. We're going to have super muggy atmosphere. It's going to be pretty nasty out there, and that's going to lead to some pop-up thunderstorms. If you want to think of what this might look like, I don't think it'll be as widespread, but think of what happened Sunday. The first half of the day, beautiful sunshine. Then those storms erupted, and they were nasty. I mean, those were some really strong storms that are around in the afternoon hours. And then you see by 8, 9 o'clock, those storms that move through, not a ton of them. As we go into Friday, kind of similar. We could start the day dry and then going into the afternoon or another round of storms developing, same time frame. But the difference is tomorrow and Friday, certainly not the widespread rain that we've seen over the last couple days. In fact, when you look at the Futurecast, you notice it's not just big blobs of green, it's actually a lot of breaks in there. So 40-50% chance of scattered afternoon evening storms for Friday, Thursday, Friday, and even part of Saturday. But here's the good news. We're going into the weekend. We've got a pretty strong cold front, which actually could bring us some pretty significant relief. In fact, I'll show you the wider view of the Futurecast, because once all this mess moves east, you start to see this cold front approach. And this cold front has some really dry air behind it, and unseasonably dry air. I mean, something we don't normally see in June. And Monday is June 1st, by the way. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a cool down we actually have. I don't know if we'll break a record low, but we're going to be closer to record lows in the 50s than we are the normal high. And just to show you the atmospheric moisture, I love looking at this parameter because it shows us how much moisture the atmosphere has throughout the entire column. So obviously pretty tropical over us right now. And even the next couple days, you've got a really wet atmosphere. But watch this cold front approaching from the north and west. Comes dicing down here and then just moves in. And by Monday, that is amazing. That is bone dry air. And to think that that's June 1st, you're talking about an incredibly dry air mass. Not only is no rain, but dew points in the 30s and 40s, morning lows in the 50s, afternoon highs in the 70s. Delightful, kind of like April weather here in early June. But it is June in the Carolinas. It's not going to last very long. The moisture is going to come roaring back. In fact, I can already see signs of it coming back by the middle of next week. Slowly but surely, by Wednesday, the moisture is back with us. But if you want some good news, two things to show you. First of all, the rain chances over the next 7 days. That's kind of nice to see the fact that we don't have huge rain chances. You're talking about rain chances, on Thursday, tomorrow, 50%, maybe 20, 30 on Friday, 40 on Saturday. So really scattered over the next couple of days. But look on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday. I showed this at 6, and I didn't want to jinx it, but it's like 10% or less. So we'll take that. And on top of that, we talked about how nice this atmosphere is going to feel. Look at this. My favorite chart all summer. If we can get rid of the mugginess stay in the 60s and upper 50s, that'd be great. Now, it probably means we're in a drought, but the fact that dew points are going to plummet on Saturday night and Sunday into the 50s and 40s and stay there possibly till Wednesday, that's a really good sign of some great feeling air. So the good news tonight, the worst of the weather is moving out. The bad news, we still have several flood warnings. All the creeks and streams are running high. And just be careful. The next couple of days, if you live near creeks or streams, just be very wary. The water is running incredibly high. We're likely going to see a lot of debris in the water. The water will stay high probably through the weekend. If we get additional rainfall, it could cause some flash flooding immediately. So just be careful of that. Maybe keep the kids away from there. Watch out for a lot of debris if you're going to be on the area lakes this weekend, because there's a lot of water still coming downstream. I know Mountain Lake is going to jump up above full pond here just because we've had so much runoff from all the area of smaller creeks and streams flowing into the bigger rivers and lakes. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll post any warnings we have through tonight. We'll keep an eye on that severe weather threat tomorrow. I'm going to post the maps on my Facebook page as well. Low end risk. It's not a huge risk, but just something to keep an eye on. We've got enough heat and humidity tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised to see a severe thunderstorm warning issued at some point during the afternoon. So hope you have a great night, everybody. Hurricane Bertha. Tropical Storm Bertha quickly became a depression and is now moving out. Really no big deal for us. The impacts didn't change with the name today. Just another big rainmaker. I promise you drier weather is heading our way as we go into next week. Have a great night, everybody.